Hello, welcome to Crafting with the Crafty Chick. Thank you for joining me. We are now moving on to project number 3, which is this little box. It's a clear treat box. The Stampin' Up! Carries, and what we have done is we've assembled the box and embossed the top and the bottom with a dainty diamond embossing folder. Which is in the annual catalog, and we are using a set that was in last year's, which is I think it's called In the Woods. I will get back to you on that one, and so we are going to go ahead and get ready to assemble this one. And all you need for this project is your mono glue and your embossing, your bone folder, and your scissors and dimensionals. So we have all of our tools that we need. And so really quick, I just want to show you that this is what the boxes come in, the clear tiny treat boxes, and they are 2 inches by 2 inches. And you get 16 of them in a package. And let me see, they're in the catalog on page 152, and it's the third one down, and they're $7.50, so not bad, less than 50 cents a box. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to assemble these. And one thing you want to do is, they do have a plastic sheet on them. You will want to peel that away. They put that on there to protect it from scratches. Okay. So, oh, I have a piece of plastic up here. Take that off. Okay. So I'm going to bring in my black mat, because it might help you guys to see this a little bit better maybe. Let's see where, okay. And so you have on the bottom, you've got a piece that has tabs on it. That's going to be your box bottom. And then up here, you've got just a lid with rounded corners. And that is going to be the top of your box. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to shape the box. So I'm just really sharpening those score lines that are on here so that it'll be easier for us to assemble our box. And so I'm just taking the side flaps now and getting those put together. And now I'm going to turn the box upside down. And so you're going to have a piece that has a hole in the middle. And so what I found it easier, let me get these folded in. Okay. It'll make it easier for them to hold when we get our box assembled. And so what I'm going to do is, starting with the 2 small tabs, I'm going to fold those in. And then this piece that has a tab on the end, let me see if I can, there we go. This tab on the end actually gets tucked into this opening here. And so what I'm going to do is bring the piece that has the opening towards you, and then the tab part, you're going to just tuck that in under. And then that now holds your box closed. Okay, and then I'm taking the rounded corner part of our box lid and sharpening up those crease lines. It's really nice. You don't need any adhesive. This is just all a fold flat, and folding flaps and securing those. Pretty easy. Now if I can just get this one to go in, there we go. And so now you have your little 2x2 clear treat mini box. Okay, so we're going to set that off to the side. And in your kit, and I will have dimensions for you for this project at the end of the video. I'll pull all of our pieces out here. Okay. This is, again, that beautiful satin, double-stitched satin ribbon that we used on our mini curvy keepsake boxes. Okay. And I don't remember if I already cut these for you guys in your kits several weeks ago when I did all the prep work for these projects. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys the size you're going to want. This is shaded spruce, and it's 3 5/8 inches by 3 5/8 inches, and you're going to score at 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides, and then you're just going to come in and cut where you score. There's a score line here and a score line here, and you're going to cut just up to this score line so that you have tabs. So you're going to have 4 tabs, and you're going to do that for both pieces. One is going to be your box top and one's going to be your box bottom. And then once you have that done, then the other assembly we need to do is you have your 3 trees piece. This actually is from the snow globe set that carried over from last holiday catalog. And I want to tell you really quick, so this is shaded spruce, and what I did was I didn't want just a stark white solid tree, but I wanted to give the illusion of like a snow covered tree. So what I did was I took my Versamark ink pad and just kind of dabbed it across the front of the trees, and then I sprinkled it with white embossing powder and embossed it. And if you look really closely, you can still see some of the green from the trees kind of showing through. So it just looks like they're covered in snow. I really like that effect. And so our box has only 2 trees, and so what I did was I actually cut this tree completely out. And so you want to keep this bottom part, which basically is going to be our snowbank. And so we're going to cut this tree away. And so we just have our 2 trees. And we are going to, hang on just a minute, let me, okay. I couldn't remember. So we actually are going to cut these 2 trees also. And so I'm just doing it at the base of the snowbank and the tree trunk. And I'm completely separating those. So then what you're left with is your snowbank piece. So what we are going to do now is this piece I put glitter on. We're going to glue this glittery piece onto the green piece. Give that a minute to bond. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, you have a bigger tree and then a medium-sized tree. I'm just going to cut up the middle of those 2 trees. And I'm taking the medium-sized tree, and that one basically is going to get tucked in behind our snowbank on this side. And do not worry about this straight edge because we're actually covering it up with the other tree, so you won't even notice it. So that stuck to my finger. Okay, and then I'm taking the other smaller tree and I'm going to cut it off about halfway. I'm just cutting the tree. I just wanted a smaller tree. And that one is going to cover up that straight edge from the other tree that we cut. So basically you're just overlapping the smaller tree over the top of the medium-sized tree. So right now we're just building our scene. And then you have a little polar bear. Now you have to be aware of what side your polar bear is facing. If it's facing this way, you will not see a black eye or the black tip of his nose. And so you want to turn it over and make sure he's facing this way, and you'll see a black eye and the tip of his nose. And so basically our polar bear is going to go over the top of our snowbank and we're going to pop him up on dimensionals. But we want to wait and actually assemble all of that after we have our box completely put together. And the other part we're doing is the sentiment, thinking of you at Christmas. I didn't want to do a die of just a square or a circle. Sometimes it really gets more of an effect when you fussy cut it out. So we're going to fussy cut our sentiment out. And I just kind of left a thin red border all the way around. I'm telling you guys, if you don't have a pair of these, you need to get yourself a pair. These are great. So we're just fussy cutting our sentiment out. And I just kind of follow the lettering. So if you have like a curve, you just kind of follow along and include that curve in there, like we just went around that G. Around the top of my K here. And there's all kinds of little things you guys can use to fill these little treat boxes. Hershey Kisses, candy, I mean, just little soaps, or I wonder if tea lights might even fit. Okay, and we fussy cut our sentiment out. Okay, we're going to move the ribbon out of the way. So now you will need your mono glue for this part. I found it easier to, this actually fits really well on the box, but I actually found instead of gluing this together and assembling it, to actually put it directly on top of the box, because then you've got something to shape it around and it just makes it easier. Then you've got a nice snug fit. You don't want it too tight, but you do want it to be kind of snug. And so what I'm going to do is actually start with one end. So we're going to, you have your side tabs here, we're going to put glue on those sides, because then this comes in and gets attached to the side of your box. So we're going to go ahead and glue those now. And you're just going to bring those in and attach and hold. Okay, and then what I like to do now is to actually put this over the top of the box. so that I can use that as my guide. And so what I do is I just take one finger here and my thumb, which actually holds this side onto the box while I am assembling this side of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on our tabs here. And then, so I have my finger here and my thumb here holding this, and I'm going to take this tab in, using the box as my guide to shape that corner so that it's a nice snug fit. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just holding it up against the side of the box. And so now you have your box top. It's a nice snug fit. And it won't come off. Oh, yep, it will. But we're going to have it tied with ribbon. And we're going to do the same thing with our bottom piece. So I'm just bringing this in. I'm going to adhere the tab to the side. And hold that for a minute. And then I'm going to put it on the bottom of our box, just like we did with the other side. And then I'm going to put glue on the tabs. I'm going to chuck that one in. Okay, and there we have our box top and bottom. So the other thing you want to be aware of is you want to have your lid, the opening part, you want to make sure it faces towards you. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is we're going to build our background theme. So many dimensionals. So on the back of our trees, we're going to put a couple of mini dimensionals. So I put 2. We're going to peel the backing away. And we're going to, I can't find my adhesive. Hang on just a second, sorry. Okay. So on your snowbank, I'm going to get closer to the camera, you guys can see, you have kind of more of a hill that goes up. You want to make sure that's on the right side. So what I'm going to do is on the left side, I'm going to put some high tack adhesive. because that is what is actually going to hold my tree into place. And then, before you actually secure those pieces, you're going to take your little tree and chuck him in there. And that adhesive will hold him in place. Okay. And now we're ready to stick this piece on, and we're going to follow up with putting dimensionals across the rest of the snowbank. I'll put one here and another one over here. And then we're ready to peel the backing away. Okay, and so we don't want to tie ribbon on this just yet. So I just hold these two pieces close together, and you want to stick this kind of in the center of your box. Secure that down. And then we're going to take our bear. Make sure it's facing this direction. We're going to turn him over and put a dimensional up here toward the top. Just one mini dimensional. And then you're going to stick your bear on. So you want to make sure that dimensional is up above the snowbank. Okay, we're almost done. And then we're going to take our sentiment piece and we're going to put dimensionals across the top of our sentiment and then one in the middle. Okay. We'll go ahead and get this on the front of our box. So bring your tops and your bottoms together. And then you're just going to stick your sentiment on your box. And then the last step is to tie the ribbon on. This beautiful double stitch satin ribbon. I love it. So this I found is easier with two people, but we can do it with one person, two hands. So you're just going to just tie a bow across the top of your box. Okay. And then you can trim your tails off if you want. And there you have it. It's just so fun. And really a nice, quick, easy way to decorate and step up the decorating of these little boxes instead of just a plain box. Okay, so here are the instructions again. So your top and bottom is 3 5/8 by 3 5/8, scored at 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides, and then you do your wedge cuts. So if you make these, you want to do all the cutting and scoring ahead of time, and then you can emboss it with your embossing folder. Because if you emboss it first and then do your scoring, it can be kind of hard to see your score lines. So I just found it was easier to do your cutting and scoring first, then run it through your embossing folder. Okay, so that is project number 3. So I will see you for project number 4, which I think we are going to do this trifle card next. So we'll do this one next, and then the last project number 5 will be this card. And then we have our Christmas in July Crafty Chick prize drawing, and we will do that at the end of the 5th project. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye-bye.